Yeah, Amal is a sweetheart, and but honestly, to tell you, when he was working with me, I never ever saw even inclination of this kind of a talent which he's showing in those wonderful films he's making. I never really realized that because he's a very quiet person, and I don't remember a single time him sharing an idea with me, or that even that he actually had what do you call interest to become a filmmaker. I don't remember him actually seeing, not even once. So when I first heard his directing, I was actually surprised.
സംവിധായകൻ രാം ഗോപാൽ വർമ്മയാണ് ഇന്ന് ക്യൂവിനോടൊപ്പം ചേരുന്നത്. വെൽക്കം സർ. Yeah. Dhahanam is a web series that is basically made in violence itself, right? The basic content and the story you guys are telling is another thing, but it is made up in violence. And in the trailer, while watching the trailer, I had remembered a lot of shots of Mirzapur. In a point that is because it's violence is there, right? And at what point Ram Gopal Varma as a producer got into Dhahanam?
See, this is loosely based on many things which happened in a region in Andhra Pradesh. I've been hearing these stories since the last 25 years or so. And whenever I hear about them, there is so much of what you call the circle of revenge, and that keeps on going and unrelentlessly. And I always wanted to make something, but I know the length of the story and the kind of characters and how they affect each other is very difficult to encompass into a feature film of 2.5 hour length. So I thought here, because MX Players, when I spoke, is an opportunity. If you make it as a show, it can be drawn into a much longer thing, where the beauty of the show series is that you get more time to invest in the emotions into the character. You almost feel you know them as people because of the length of time, which is what reason I was very interested in making this into a series,
web series.
Yeah.
Okay. As a film director as well as you are a filmmaker, and you had done a lot of movies. And what is the main difference that you are feeling while making a movie and a web series? Because there will be a lot of things that difference, like the characters, the story, and the screenplay, and everything. What is the main difference that you are feeling?
See, the main difference I would think, like I just said in the previous question, the time it gives you,
Yep.
Because you don't need to be running and condense it and shorten it. There is a contradiction there. In feature films, we always get to believe not to make the audience lose interest. So if you're putting more time, that doesn't mean you're stretching the scene. I think it's more about not missing out on the details. To give practical example, when you watch something like Narcos, you can't take your eyes off the screen for even 1 second, in spite of it being 20 long hours of story of one man. Now, I dread to imagine if that story someone attempted to tell in a 2.5 hour feature film, because it might be interesting, but it is nothing like what we see in the series, because we literally live the life of Pablo Escobar.
Yes.
And all the other characters in the film, not only him. So I think it's beautiful and it's incredible. And for pure lovers of stories, a film always has a thing. There's a beginning, there's an interval, and there's an end. Our minds think in the structural aspect of it. In a web series, I think is real storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was a statement of you that gone viral. Your movie Dangerous has been banned from Inox and PVR just because it is a movie that is handling lesbian story. Yeah. So, what is what motive do you think behind that?
I mean, I think, see, because though the Supreme Court repealed Section 377 in 2018, it is such a taboo thing to talk about. I mean, it is something which is sort of swept under the rug and no one wants to acknowledge it happens and things like that. So when you suddenly bring it out into the open, I think you're just confused and uncomfortable, and the reactions, obviously they're not telling it this is the reason, but all kinds of other reasons. But I think anything you do for the first time will just definitely be met with some resistance, especially in a sexual connotation. The last time I remember something like this happened in the US when they were trying to release Lolita. Now, Lolita is a very famous novel of Nopkin and made by someone as accomplished as Adrian Lane, who's done Fatal Attraction and 9.5 Weeks and all that. But I think it's, yeah, that is one. And some single screens felt hum family wale hai, and how can we play this, and how will we show our face? So it is not like everyone, but a substantial number of people around. We are just trying to talk to them and maybe change the way we pitch in a new trailer and maybe design new posters. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There will be a lot of people, and they will be concerning a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Okay. During the COVID days, you are a busy filmmaker and doing more than 7 films. You had directed more than 7 films, right? And will that affect the creativity of a filmmaker, the dynamics? Because a lot of movies are coming. You're doing one movie after another and after another. So will this affect the creativity of a filmmaker?
And see, I think it depends upon each individual's drive and capacity and what he does. I do nothing but make films. I have absolutely no other life beyond films, no personal life, no public life, no nothing. And it's not that all of them I do. I sometimes facilitate a project, I produce or something like that. It's not all the films which carry my name necessarily are not made creatively by me. I could be just a facilitator of the project. So I guess, yeah, it's that.
Okay, the next thing is you had announced a movie called based on the subject Arnab Goswami, right? And you had titled it like Arnab the News Prostitute.
Yes.
Arnab Goswami is a kind of person or a kind of journalist that got a lot of things from the state, and he got another point. He praises the states, and he got a lot of things from the states as well. And at this point, in this scenario, in this society, and you are announcing a movie against him. So, what is the provocation behind that?
See, I honestly very strongly felt about the way he was degrading this film industry and film people and all that. It was a time when I actually made that announcement. But I slowed down or maybe dropped, I'm not sure exactly right now. Basically, for the reason, I think Arnab Goswami makes better films than any of us. You know, at the speed and drama he builds, I am not sure I can carry that, is one. And second is, any film needs to have a climax. I don't know what is the climax in Arnab Goswami's life, you know. So I think multiple reasons, and also the subject matters keep changing so rapidly, because the media, what it does is it makes a lot of film but only till interval. You will never get to know the second half, you know, any issue they take up. So when you make a film on them, then again you only have the first half as a corollary. So that kind of put me in a little this thing, and I kind of slowed down.
Right. And what attracted you more into what Dhahanam? Dhahanam is a bilingual web series, right? And you are releasing it in Hindi and in Telugu as well. And it did that that plot having a pan-Indian appeal?
I see the pan-Indian appeal. I really don't know if that has any meaning these days, because if you look at Narcos, for example, it's one of my favorite examples. It is shot in Spanish on a story happened in Colombia. I don't know if anybody knows where that country is or they've been there, but it attracted the entire world. That's because of the drama. I think it doesn't belong to a region, it belongs to human conflict. And it belongs to the engaging power of the narrative of the makers. So I think that is irrelevant in terms of what language is made in. And the OTTs dub it in as many languages as they can, depending on the various factors. So I think that is the world we're living in.
Okay, fine. There was a social media post of you that about a Malayalam movie called Bhutakalam, and on that post you told that you totally enjoyed that movie. And in that scenario, at what point you are seeing Malayalam movies?
I mean, to be very honest, not many. I've not seen many. I see the very popular ones. But that particular thing I saw, it was horror being one of my favorites as a genre. In fact, Revati brought it to my attention, actress Revati. And that is when I posted that. Yeah.
And you liked that movie, right?
Yes, very much.
And you are following Malayalam movies and nowadays?
I get very little time, and most of the time, whenever I get time, I tend to watch documentaries and shows, and very few feature films I actually see.
Fine. And there is a movie recently released called Bhishma Parvam. It has been directed by Amal Neerad, and
I heard that.
yeah, Amal Neerad is basically is from film school of you. He's coming from film school of you, and basically he had done cinematography in your movie James as well, and. Bhishma Parvam contains a lot of similarities with Godfather and your movie Sarkar as well. So, how are you looking that after Sarkar, a movie in Malayalam industry, get what inspired from your movie as well, and how you are looking forward to that?
Yeah, Amal Neerad is a sweetheart, but honestly, to tell you, when he was working with me, I never ever saw even the inclination of this kind of a talent which he's showing in those wonderful films he's making. I never really realized that, because he's a very quiet person, and I don't remember a single time him sharing an idea with me, or that he actually had what do you call, interest to become a filmmaker. I don't remember him actually seeing, not even once. So when I first heard his directing, I was actually surprised.
Okay.
You know? Yeah, then I briefly met him when I was doing some film in Munnar. He came to see me at the time, or whatever, but I'm really happy for his success.
Okay. Great. And what are your expectations while the web series going to release?
For a film or web series or whatever, when you work so hard and the whole team works so hard, obviously anyway expectation is for people to see and like it. But I guess that is something not in our hands. But the purpose of making anything is to hope that maximum number of people will watch it.
Okay, and all the best, and
thank you.
Thank you so much.